What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we need to talk about Sundial Growers, ticker symbol SNDL, because this stock has been pumping up lately, right? We're up about 10% on the day based off some really great news that just came out for the stock. So let's take a look at the chart and see what we have going on. So first of all, you can see that we have been pumping up hugely in after hours, right? We were up over 20% at one point, and right now it looks like we're waning a bit, right? As a lot of traders and investors are waking up, they're seeing that their Sundial shares are worth a whole lot more than they were when they closed yesterday, right? They're waking up to see a massive gain, and a lot of them, it looks like, are selling. Now, it will be very interesting to see what happens at this 70-cent level, because this is a long-term support line that we have for this stock. So if we bounce off of this, that is very good news. If we end up breaking and holding below 70 cents, that would be very bearish, right? That would not be what we want to see. We're going to see what happens in just a couple of minutes here. But while we're waiting for that, I will talk about the news that we have seen with Sundial and why they have been pumping up so much. So basically, Sundial Growers is going to acquire Alcana, which is a Canadian private liquor distributor, right? They are the largest private liquor retailer. Sorry, not distributor. They're a retailer, right? They operate 171 locations, and they actually have an overwhelming interest in Nova Cannabis, which is another cannabis producer similar to, or another cannabis retailer similar to Sundial, right? And this will actually help to strengthen Sundial's position as well, right? Because with this acquisition, they're not only getting the alcohol business, and improved cash flow from that, Sundial will be able to start selling more products that are actually regulated in other parts of the world, whereas cannabis is illegal in a lot of the world, especially the United States, where I know it is a big deal, right? Whenever someone talks about cannabis legalization. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chart right here, waiting to see what happens at the 70-cent level, because this is very key to Sundial, but I will continue and check back on that in a minute. So basically, Sundial is going to be acquiring a liquor business, and they're going to be able to start retailing liquor from a very well-established company. Alcana has been operating for over 25 years. So they are a well-established liquor retailer, and they also have that 63% equity interest in Nova Cannabis, which will definitely help to strengthen Sundial's position. As you can see here, synergies from a large retail operation. They're going to be benefiting not just from the retail of liquor, but also from the retail of cannabis that Nova is doing. And this will be probably a key factor in Sundial's growth in Canada, right? Because they currently aren't the largest, right? Tilray is the largest, I believe, cannabis producer and potentially retailer as well in Canada. Sundial is not, right? They want to expand that part of their business and become a real player in the cannabis space, and also, it seems, the liquor space, now that they are expanding into liquor, much like Tilray did just a couple of months ago. So what we want to know, right, isn't necessarily the nitty-gritty details of the transaction between these companies, but we actually want to see how it's going to affect the stock price. And to do that, we can kind of get a sentiment of how people are reacting to this news. And it looks like they're reacting rather well, because you can see that Sundial Growers is becoming one of the top trending stocks on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. It's the number 10 stock. It's up 185 places since yesterday, right? Up 4,200% mention-wise. We have 171 mentions, 766 upvotes, and this news really just came out last night, so this is probably just the beginning. My guess is that as more people are waking up and hearing about this, a lot more people are going to start looking at this stock as a potential buy. Now, obviously, a lot of people are selling this. We are breaking through the 70-cent level. That doesn't mean that we're going to stay below that. It's possible that we will. That would be very, very detrimental for the stock price, right? Because if you look at the long term, you can see that 70 cents has held us in the past. And ideally, we had broken through it, but ideally this would be a place that we could bounce off of. And maybe this could just be the bottom of a big green candle, right? This could be the bottom wick of a big green candle, hopefully, by the end of the day. We'll have to see how traders react to this news as more and more of them find out about it. But you can see we're already trending on Reddit and Wall Street Bets up a ton mention-wise. A lot of people are going to probably start hearing about this news. You can see that on Google, when you search for Sundial stock, Google Trends shows that there is massive search volume for the stock. A lot of people are probably going to be getting interested in it in the near future. And you can also see that on StockTwits, we are the number 8 ranking stock, right? Obviously, we could be doing quite a bit better, especially if we had held some of the gains. I think that, if we were still up about 20% on the day instead of having sunk down immediately during market open, I think a lot more people on StockTwits would probably be talking about this, because a lot of the time with StockTwits, people are using stock screeners to see what the top gainers of the day are, and then those are the stocks that get talked about the most. But still, number 8 on the most active stock watch list on on StockTwits is not bad, right? This is a good place to start from, especially if we can get the Reddit and Wall Street Bets community to pump us up a little bit more. I think that could really garner some interest from the StockTwits community and continue to push us up. Now, the reason that I think it's important that we get pushed up is because if you actually look at the short interest on Sundial, if you look at Ortex, you can see it has a relatively high short interest, almost 20%. Obviously, some people are shorting today because the stock is up a bunch, and that's likely contributing to the fall that we've seen. You can actually see that we are experiencing massive volume. If you look at the chart down here, massive volume compared to what we typically experience, even in the after hours, right? You can see massive volume for after hours, but this is typical, right, over here for what you would see volume-wise. And, typically, it's under 100,000 shares or maybe a couple 100,000 at the most. But we have been experiencing like 5 million shares at the open, 3.6 million shares, a couple million shares every single minute, basically, the whole time the stock has been trading, except for maybe 1 or 2 bars. So very impressive volume-wise. Obviously, a lot of people are exiting their positions now that the stock just pumped up 20%. Maybe some insiders knew it was going to happen, but it looks like we are gaining some traction, right? We're getting back up above 70 cents. It's going to be very important to watch the 70-cent level, what happens with it, because if we do get shot back down, that would be very bearish. But there is big upside that I see with Sundial potentially, right? Based off of the short interest. You can see that's almost 20% right here. And we could definitely see a short squeeze situation, especially if this stock pumps up, particularly past $1, right? Because if we could get past $1, let's find the right chart for this. If we could get past $1, which has acted as a support and resistance in the past, then that would actually start to trigger a lot of these open interest call options. And you can see that the dollar strike price for October 15th has 194,000 open interest call options. Now that has the potential to gamma squeeze this stock up quite a bit, right? Because a lot of the institutions that were selling these call options were not expecting Sundial to pump up anytime soon, especially if you look at, this is the 90-day chart. You can see that we've just been in a downtrend pretty much the entire time, except the very beginning of this chart where we did end up spiking up to $1.50. We have been in a downtrend since then, and a lot of these institutions were not expecting that we might have the potential to pump up above $1, and they were likely selling these call options naked, is my expectation, right? They were naked selling these call options, and if these call options did become in the money, right, if this stock actually pumped up to $1, then a lot of institutions would likely have to start buying shares themselves to cover these call option positions. Now, obviously, institutions are going to do their best to stop that from being the case, right? They don't want to have to cover on Sundial call options. They'd much rather just probably short this stock in the meantime, which is, as you can see, kind of happening, right? Short interest is up 4.37%. So institutions are probably going to try to push this thing down, and we're just going to have to see if retail can come out of this and end up pushing it up, because really it is fundamentally great news for Sundial. This acquisition is probably going to be amazing for them, being able to sell a product that is legal in most places, alcohol. That's going to be really great for their bottom line and for their profitability. And in the past, Sundial has had issues with share dilution. If you look, they've often had to issue new shares just to stay afloat. But if they're actually able to acquire this liquor company and to have it maintain their profitability, then that would be really beneficial for them, because they would no longer have to dilute shareholders just to stay afloat while they're waiting for cannabis to be legalized. And that would actually really contribute to the stock price in a great way, I think, if they didn't continue this share dilution method that they've been using for the past while. I think that a lot of investors have been scared off by that, mainly institutions, right? Institutions do not like buying companies that are constantly diluting their shares. And, that has scared them off from these cannabis companies. But if these cannabis companies are actually able to become profitable before cannabis is legalized in the United States, then I think that might garner a lot of interest in institutional investors and just bigger investors in general who are more risk averse, right? Because they don't want to be investing in companies that are losing money perpetually, waiting for a big payday at the end of it when hopefully they'll be profitable. They want to invest in companies that are profitable and have the potential for even bigger paydays in the future. So that's what I have for you guys today on Sundial. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.